死は衝撃光です自分自身を守るためなら怖や怖や人は針にでも唾を吐くああ生ぬるい理想の燃やして得る炎上症法ああ地獄の沙汰も金次第ですわ夢希望何もかの信じてたの頃に戻りたい戻れない戻ろうまみれなの美しいものほど醜く見える現状ですああ大人になるって愉快なものねああじれったい真実ぶち壊しちゃえ規制概念ああうさったいモラルもへったくれもないわ正義人も告白人も私もあんたも本能に抗えない自然動物ですわ
Good evening and welcome back to the Dwarven fortress of Keskalokil by the sea, where we appear to have run out of soap. At least our bathhouse here, which is now mostly made out of porcelain bricks, apart from the staircase, which we should probably try to fix, which is made of sparse dropseed grass. Yes, the bathhouse does appear to not have any soap in its soap stockpile. I think that's partly because I asked to store slightly more soap in the hospital, and partly because our our rock nut growing operation was going rather badly and was like, I think it wasn't actually losing rock nuts, but it wasn't making much of a profit in rock nuts either. But we fixed that. We're now growing rock nuts deeper underground where they grow better. So that should be fine. And thus we should eventually start having a decent supply of soap in the bathhouse again. Though it'll take a little while, I think, for us to have enough of a rock nut surplus that we can do that. Actually, some of the roof of the bathhouse is still made out of jet and shale rather than porcelain. And apparently we've got willow fruits dropping on, but there isn't a willow tree there anymore. I took it down. It did apparently take quite a bit of the bathhouse roof with it. Did any of that? No, it didn't end up in the river. Anyway, so we had a entirely unimpressive attack from a goblin horde, which consisted of like 6 goblin archers. Their various body parts have been stacked up in the goblin bits stockpile and will probably be disposed of quite shortly. We recently ran out of wood, so I scheduled a bunch of extra stuff for chopping down. We've dug up a decent amount of limestone, but I think we still want some coal. I think last I looked, let's have a quick glance at the stockpiles. Boulders. So we have lots of dull stone. We've got 89 limestone, yes, and 272 limonite, so plenty of iron ore, but only a total of 52 coal. And again, plenty of iron, quite a bit of steel. Surprising amount of platinum. Well, we need to do something silly with the platinum, don't we? And 34 coke. So I think we should still be making some efforts to find coal. And like we've spotted bits of it. We found a couple of minor coal seams here. It's just so I think we should. Things around this staircase are good because they're easy to get back up to the foundries. Actually, this level, which is admittedly in the drains, and this level, which is not in the drains, do have some. There's some bituminous coal down there, which isn't very far away. Let's just try digging southwards from there and seeing what we find. So at a sensible priority at the moment, yes. And there's some lignite up there, which is fairly nearby, I suppose. Possibly that bituminous coal there goes further north, actually. Let's check. Let's prove that. I think for the most part, veins and seams and such. Oh, there's some more down there. Veins and seams and such like are contiguous unless some other mineral interrupts them. So if that is all chert, then we can be confident that there isn't any more bituminous coal like out here unless it's a separate seam. There is a patch down there. And like there's quite a decent amount here. The tricky bit is it's damp round there. So I wonder if it might be better. Is that staircase drained? Goes an awfully long way down, but I think at the bottom of this staircase there's a drain, yes. There's fortifications to allow stuff to be washed out, the water to pour out into the caverns if it leaks. So it's fine actually for things on that staircase. Can we build a grating? There, yes we can. But then we couldn't go down any further. That's obviously not very helpful, is it? Because we might actually still want to have access to the... I'm just slightly wondering if we can avoid... pushing... avoid accidentally washing people out of the... or washing people down the staircase. But I think actually people can't get washed down staircases because there are stairs. Right, so we could dig out that. And there's like... lignite just here, but damp sandstone on the way there. So I slightly wonder if it might be better to like open cast mine this. Though even then we'd have to wall it in somehow, wouldn't we? Let's not worry about it too much. Let's see what we can find. So this level's dry, isn't it? Let's actually see what we can find by... digging around the edge there as well. Would it be quicker to go down? Yes, it would be much quicker rather than doing that. Rather than carefully digging around miles and miles on that level. Let's just dig a staircase down from here initially. Actually, let's do it one layer further because there's a bunch of gems just below that. Right. Okay, that's a bunch of mining done there. So, What's going on with smoothing? I'm still confused because that thing that I marked for smoothing got smoothed, and now no one is smoothing anything anymore, I think. Yes. Everybody smooths, except that nobody smooths. Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's tag another random area for smoothing so that we can see if it happens. Somewhere that's really accessible. Right, and oh yes, we had... Jutton had suggested that maybe the way to clear out the pile up of inconveniently positioned minecarts on this minecart track was to send a very heavy minecart down there to push them all out again. This is obviously a stupid idea, so I'm going to try it. Largely because I can't prove it won't work. Obviously for that we need a heavy minecart. We have 2 platinum minecarts which are currently operating flip-flops, but obviously we should just make another one. Forge me another platinum minecart. Where are minecarts in this list? Only 1, not 10. Right. But like, it might not be a bad idea to drain the pool anyway to get some of the clothes out. Oh yes, and we should probably, even if we're not immediately going to drain the river from upstream, we should try to get some of these dead goblins out of it to avoid upsetting people. So we should open river drains E and B. If we can find river drain B, there it is. So as to let some of the water out, and bits of goblins as well. Now dwarves are hauling various kinds of clothing back down, or rather cloth and leather back down to the clothing stores. We should see what clothes people are lacking. In particular, what are worn out on people. Children, of course, probably don't have worn clothes. Well, not directly, usually. There's someone wearing a worn hood. Don't think we have a job for making hoods yet. Cloak. I think we do have a job for making cloaks. I should probably assign these jobs directly to the workshops, because then I could look them up by looking at the workshops, couldn't I? We have a cloak task. Well, let's add a make yarn hood task as well. Not yes. So that one. No, that's a task. I didn't mean a task. I meant a work order. And the conditions on that should be when we have fewer than, say, we usually seem to go for 20, don't we? 20 hoods available. Okay, minecarts are moving around there. I think I should remove minecarts from the southern loop for now and just try to clear it out. So I think thus we should actually mark all of those minecarts as to be removed when they next emerge. So all of SA, SB, SC and SD will be set to no minecarts. So then as they come out, they'll stop at this track stop and then be removed by a passing dwarf. This probably means we also want to forcibly set all of the downstream all of the signals in fact clear, and let's just get the minecarts out as effectively as we can. So S3, S4 and S5 should all be marked as empty. This might be slightly dangerous. In that it will mean that someone removing a minecart might get run down by another incoming minecart. But it's fairly unlikely. Right, we're now draining the river a little bit, which hopefully has already caused quite a lot of stuff to get swept down here. Will hopefully cause these two to shift as well. But possibly we need to get the water level a bit lower for that. Well, we could open drain C as well. Though, admittedly, opening too many drains does bring with it the danger of someone down here getting drowned if someone is going the wrong way. So ultimately, a lot of water ends up down here while we're draining the river. And therefore in the caverns. One of the goblins from upstream has shifted. Yes, thank you. You're naming your not very good spear. That goblin still seems to be stuck. Well, let's keep draining it for now. Let's just have a look at the unit list and make sure no one's drowning. Who are you and what are you doing there? Randomly hanging around in the water. I have this slight fear that some of my dwarves have started voluntarily going swimming.
Progress.
No, it's not. I don't want them to voluntarily go swimming.
The ones who are voluntarily going
Swimming are the ones who can swim.
It's true, yes.
All right, both of the goblin corpses have shifted now. Though I'm still astonished by the way that blind cave ogre skeleton appears to be permanently stuck in the river there, despite all of my efforts at draining it. Well, I mean, we're getting somewhere. I think I just spotted a dwarf in the river, which is a dangerous place for them to be. I'm sure there shouldn't be auto-repeat on that scroll bar. Oh, I'm not sure there is auto-repeat on that scroll bar. That's alarming. That might indicate that this trackpad button really, really needs replacing. Anyway, no one seems to be drowning at the moment. That's good. Right, how are we doing for getting things out? That's pretty much everything apart from the blind cave ogre skeleton. Well, I mean, and quite a lot of upstream wood, but frankly, we're not going to get that out like this. Right, let's close those drains then. So that was drain B and E. Oh dear, someone got into into one of the drains, I think. Oh no, they're apparently on the surface. Oh, how odd. Oh well. Right, now the river is refilling. There is a phenomenal amount of stuff in there, but no water. So if that door is locked, we can unlock it. It's not locked. Okay, and similarly, that one is not locked, which is part of why people keep getting things dropped on their heads. So now we can unforbid everything in each of those squares, and lots of stuff can get hauled back up to relevant stockpiles, which is slightly inconvenient, but whatever. So let's see how, right, that smoothing hasn't happened, so that's leading me to suspect that that smoothing, well, isn't going to happen. So I think we should try to drain the river by digging down into the caverns. This was one of my exploratory things, wasn't it? And we found some bituminous coal there and there. Right, well, let's just set to mining at highish priority. That and that. We probably don't want the tetrahedrite right now. Though, like, if it comes with, we'll accept it. So we can tag those bits for mining. Right, that really didn't find us any more, did it? That seam might be useful, but it's going to be slow work. Actually, we should thus make that a higher priority so that it happens before the auto mining higher up. Right, let's see if any of these messages is exciting. Lots of masterpieces. Naming a spear. We've forged a platinum minecart. Right. So S4 should now be empty, except that, of course, S4 is correctly empty. I think S5, that's S3. S3 is currently shown as full, so we actually want to find the S3 lever and pull it twice in order to re-empty S3. Who are you and what are you doing there? You're satisfied upon improving swimming, apparently. I think they may actually be trying to root through the water. It's fine to find rabbits dead. They die all the time. Well, they don't actually. They're quite long-lived in this game. Just having a quick glance around some of our livestock.
Don't have the breeding like rabbits problem because otherwise
We've gelded them all.
right.
We have the only things that can reproduce in my fortress are dwarves and birds. Dwarves because they tend to fight back, and birds because they're too difficult. Actually, dwarves because there isn't an option for it. So yes, all of the surface livestock are rendered incapable of breeding. Hence all the X's around the male symbols. Just seeing if there's any animals 10 years old. Usually, most livestock type animals are prone to dying of old age at 10, so I kind of would like to get them slaughtered before then, but those all seem quite young. What are you guys doing? Oh, you're chopping trees down, that's fine. Yes, carry on chopping down the trees. You can also see someone down there wandering around with a step ladder. You're only a novice swimmer. I'm still concerned by the fact that you might have voluntarily entered the water then. I think I might also unlock that floor hatch so you can get out of the water reasonably easily. And I suppose I should lock the floor hatch you didn't come out through. So, is there still a great big pile of stuff in there? Yes, there is. Well, it will get slowly cleared out. Yeah, it's difficult to set things from melting there. We'll do it by other means. I suppose that probably means that there are at least a bunch more bits of goblins out here that need disposing of, doesn't it? There's like one head here. Yes. We don't generally put anything other than heads on pedestals, so I think we can mark all of that for dumping apart from the head. And the head, I suppose, we could try to put on a pedestal. Strog Ag Snang.
That sounds like something, yes. Sure what?
So let's find that in this list. I assume it's quite late. There it is. Yes, right at the bottom of the list. So now all those goblin bits will be thrown out, which is where they should be. Right. How are we doing now for clearing out minecarts? We have 2 minecarts still stuck, and thus presumably 2 minecarts have been properly cleared out. Well, that's quite nice. Let us assign let's just check that all of the downstream things. So those are in S3, aren't they? Yes. So S3 is shown as full again. S4 is shown as full again. S5 is currently empty. Let's re-empty S4 and S3. S1 and S2 are already showing as empty. So if we now set one of the Dwarf Washer South routes to use the new Platinum minecart, that might clear everything out. Yeah, that should be fine. Now, okay, our dwarf who is in the water has gone straight past the obvious escape staircase. He's still only a novice swimmer. Well, I'll let them go wherever they're going. Slowly clearing the rubbish out from there. Should probably just mark every bolt we can find for melting. I suppose some of them are probably in... oh yes, weapon traps. We'd just got out to this island in the river. And cleared off the dead bits of goblin from it. Obviously, we should now build a weapon trap on it. Why are so many of our mechanisms built of Billen? Well, I suppose it's a bit convenient. We'll use a siltstone mechanism out here, though, because no one's going to be inspecting it. And like our standard object to fill things with is copper picks, because we have so many of them. Let us stick 10 copper picks into this weapon trap. And we can, I think, safely demolish that bit of floor there to make it even more inconvenient to get off there. Actually, we should build another weapon trap on the other square, shouldn't we? What should that have in it? We don't have enough copper picks to fill that one with copper picks. Well, let's put other interesting objects in it. Things that you can't use for other things. Oh, too late now. Maybe, well, I mean, if we're going to have enormous corkscrews made of steel, they may as well be used as weapons. What's the point of a copper two-handed sword, eh? Or a silver halberd? What?
Very decorative. It's like
I'm
the
sure it
silver
is.
that,
Well, I mean, silver is at least heavy, so it's good for a mace, but it doesn't really hold an edge.
also doesn't really, you know, for a mace, hold all the sort of little pointy bits that you want it to.
Yeah, true.
Make everything exciting.
That's enough. I'm losing count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. Done. Does that mean we actually have a shortage of shoes still? If we're making shoes? Apparently so. Amount of shoes available is less than 40. Right, keep making shoes then. You have struck praise. It's true. Well, let's mind the praise then. Mine out that, and at that point I think that should then give us a seam that we can follow. That can, I think, now safely be auto-mined. That can't yet. Right, yeah, there's a bit of water coming through these walls, isn't there? Which walls are damp? That one's damp, but that one's not damp. That one's probably not actually aquifer though, because otherwise it would be draining into there. That is probably an aquifer wall though. Just thinking about what I want to cut away in order to make it possible to wall this in safely. So I think we're going to quite minimally wall in these aquifers. Is it worth hauling siltstone from 18 squares away, or should we use blocks instead, which are much lighter? That's a wall there, but let's dig away a bit on this side so that we can wall this in more conveniently. I mean, the water will run out, but if we can stop the water leaking into the mine workings, that's probably better. Theoretically, we don't need to clear that one out, do we? This is going to be quite cramped down there, but that's fine. I'm sure dwarves are quite useful to cramped mining situations. Oops. I need to click twice in order to place that wall. So we do have to dig away a little bit of extra stone in order to be able to install walls to stop things leaking in. Or rather, stuff leaking in. This may be more manual than is really sensible. It's slightly amusing. Mostly that's probably agitated giant Kias, isn't it? Yes. Possibly we've lost some bones, but again, that's not much of a problem. We'll have more bones, especially if there are agitated giant Kias around. They tend to lose fights with dogs. Oh, have we finally got rid of the dead ogre? No, it's just buried underneath the iron helm. Why is that bone forbidden? Unforbid it. Don't even dump it. It's a beak dog bone. We can probably work that into something. There's still a bunch of stuff there that wants collecting, but I'm sure someone will get onto that job eventually. Yeah, of course, it's going to take a while to construct those weapon traps because... What's that? Is that an elf? Why is there a dead elf on that weapon trap? I'm fairly sure that wasn't there last time I looked. Has there like been an entire elven invasion that I haven't noticed? Don't think there has.
Is there a diplomatic issue if an elf turns up peacefully to ask a question and steps on a weapon trap on the way in?
I don't know, maybe. Let's add elves to this stockpile.
Stockpile elves.
I don't think this mystery resolves another mystery.
Judson says there was a mystery of why a goblin was upset by a dead elf last time. Maybe, except I'm sure I would have noticed a dead elf there. Right, now we will attempt to store dead elves on the goblin stockpile. I mean, possibly the elf was like stealing things or something. So, admittedly, no, maybe not. That bag is full of acorns, so... How's that mining going? Can we do another bit more of it? Yes. Right, we need to remark that lot for mining. As the praise has interrupted our mine shaft. Because I feel we shouldn't be arbitrarily connecting the mines to the drainage system, we'll wall that back off again. Especially not to the bits of the drainage system that are intended to flood. So, now that smoothing isn't happening. I'm going to assume that smoothing is broken again, and that thus we have to find some bit of the caverns over here. So like we could find the southernmost bit of the caverns that we know of, which is there, 41 Z levels down, and try to penetrate that. Actually, it might. Is it worth going in a different direction then? Do we go vertically downwards and try to hit where we know the caverns are? Or do we do something like... The thing is, we're already 20 levels down here. But it's a long way horizontally, which makes me think it might be faster to go downwards as far south as we can and then see what we can... So we know that the caverns extend this far south. So if we were to head downwards, can we do it over here instead so we don't mess up the catacombs? Yes. At least if we go a bit further north, we know that will hit the caverns. Once we've hit the caverns, we can use the fact that we've hit the caverns to... we can then, that will then expose a bit more. Might let a forgotten beast out, which would be a bit unfortunate, but... Why did I not ask to dig this starting from the caverns and going upwards? Eh? Oh, that's the wrong button. Okay, well I will do it starting from the caverns and going upwards then. Let's do it from somewhere that we think is actually inside a wall. Partly because that's easier to mark. Right. Did I set that as a stupid priority? 4, which is perfectly reasonable. That's ordinary mining priority. convenient where the coal seam is 3 squares wide, because then I can just put walls on both sides of it. I'm going to reach the practical end of this coal seam in a moment. Actually, it looks like it might go a bit further north. But then there does look to be some lignite just up there, so we should probably keep going. That, of course, won't leak, because even if it's damp, it's not actually adjacent to a... no, there isn't an aquifer on the layer above, because the layer above is limestone, which won't support an aquifer. We can't wall that in, so we need to cut out a bit more here. Actually, strictly, I don't think we need to take that one out, do we? No, we don't. Oh, that's on. That's removing mode. Yes, don't. Right. So this, yes, this lignite vein is going, or seam is going to be similarly fairly damp, but we can wall things in reasonably quickly, at least as long as people can bring siltstone blocks down here fast enough. Yeah, it's still damp. This is all aquifers. So we're going to need to widen these corridors so that we can wall them off adequately. Let's put in the walls we can put in, and then it'll be clearer what other ones we want, or rather what space we want. That's probably aquifer, isn't it? Be quicker, I think, to mine that square out. Oh no, no, don't mine that square. That square would expose the cavern. So that means we want a wall there and a wall there.
You're very cautious about exposing the cavern. Is it just because eventually something will wander in, or will someone will the pathing engine immediately go, aha, things start heading this way?
Yeah, I think essentially the moment that the connectivity changes, creatures will notice. Possibly it will take a little while. I think often dwarves, for instance, set their routes and only notice pathing changes when they can't complete them. But I think new opportunities for things to do may become visible pretty much immediately to the forgotten beasts.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't know quite how fast they'll turn up, but
It seems reminiscent of that thing in Tomb Raider where Lara climbs up onto a ledge and then immediately a tiger that's round several corners from there knows that there's someone to come and attack and will start moving towards her.
yes, I mean, I think they are.
And then you hastily drop back off the ledge and then the tiger might be somewhere you can shoot it.
Yes, I don't know quite how fast they are, but I mean, recent experience suggests that at least if you have some stone nearby, you can wall things in before anything will notice. And I don't know how many of our forgotten beasts are still alive. They may all have beaten one another up. So I'm not sure we needed to take that square out. Oh well, it's done now. This is all rather. I was going to say this is all terribly tedious to watch, but like it is faintly entertaining to do nonetheless. So maybe it's not that boring to watch. As I carefully try to keep this corridor wide enough that we can build walls all the way along the edges of it. Dwarves clamber in and out to build those walls. No. That bit's going to need to be cut back a little further. Oops. Actually, we need to cut that back a bit. on, that's going to be too narrow. Oh, is this the end of the lignite seam? I think it is. Right. So you can finish walling it in, and it then won't leak water into the admittedly only into other bits of the cavern, but like I feel more comfortable if we're not flooding the mining areas. That one needs to wait until the corners next to it are done. Right, so like waterproof mining, vaguely feasible activities. We could go deeper, but like that's gained us a decent amount of coal, I think. The expense of only a small amount of extra siltstone blocks and an awful lot of dwarf power getting them into place. Maybe it would be simpler simply to wall off this corridor and let it flood, but I try not to do that. Meanwhile, how's that staircase going? Probably the miners haven't reached it yet, have they? Probably they'll hit something damp on the way down and be annoying. All sorts of odd bits are getting built down here. Not the bits I actually want to get built, mind. Ooh, where did that happen? Right, you have started digging that staircase, and yes, right. Let's dig a gap around it so that we can then wall it in and stop it flooding. sure if this layer... Oh, peat, yes, peat definitely needs some. Needs aquifer proofing. That's odd. Oh, because you can't get into the corner, maybe? Slightly confused by that message. If we somehow ended up with no siltstone blocks available. I'm slightly confused by this. Oh, we've accidentally ended up with only a down staircase there. Yes, that's going to be a problem. Fairly sure that wasn't meant to happen. But since we have a dwarf now stuck here, let's go downwards for now. We could see if we can build a staircase to connect them. I'm not sure if you can build staircases from above. Okay, it looks like we can. That's so conglomerate might be aquifer. Actually, of course, we don't need to dig out all 4 adjacent squares, do we? Because the staircase can't flood diagonally. We only actually need to dig out those positions. That makes things a lot cheaper. That layer's gypsum, which is fine. Oh right, no, I don't have any. We have damp microcline at that level, so let's make sure if we dig our staircase from like reasonably far up, doesn't look like we're accidentally going to turn it into right, so that now wants digging away on that side and that side. And it's damp below. Right, wall those in. I think we now want to hope that that staircase above gets built. And not try to... That's going to need quite a bit of sealing then, isn't it? No. Right, the staircase is now built, so we can start walling things in. That's all damp, so let's... may as well use whatever's nearby. 10 is probably not that far away, actually, is it? Meanwhile, our miner has found another damp section. Oh, well, we'll see what's going on down there in a bit. Also, at least some interesting minerals down here that we might want, but many of those will wait. Oh, Asmel Imstinthed, ghostly dwarven baby, has risen and is haunting the fortress. Oh, we've struck a lot of things, but those are probably mostly just on the way down. And a surgeon is fighting a minecart. Well, it happens. Oh, we should see how the minecart's going, actually. What happened? I've probably missed the entertaining trying to clear things out. Ah, right, the entertaining trying to clear things out didn't work. We appear to have got one minecart out, but now there's a platinum minecart stuck down there, and I don't think we can clear that out. Right. In that case, I think we should deassign all of the minecarts, clear out the dwarf washer entirely, and then refill it again. Which is a pain, but sometimes this just has to be done. Let's also remove those two routes for now because they're not doing anything. Actually, if we do that, the minecarts aren't going to come out very easily, are they? Oh, just pull the drain lever and see what happens. Main thing is, remember to close the drain lever again before you try to refill it, because it won't work otherwise.
You did say you were going to drain the river.
Yeah.
But you probably meant on purpose.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to, but this involves first finding out where the caverns go so I can connect to them. Okay, that doesn't look like it's going to leak. Good. Like, that sandstone might make things a bit moist, but I don't think anything can come through lignite. Oh yes, we should make a memorial to the baby, shouldn't we, since we apparently haven't managed to find the baby's corpse. I assume we haven't run out of coffins recently. Oops. No. It's fine for those merchants to leave. We've got what we wanted out of them, which was mostly for them to take all our bins away.
I imagine we can do that with a hoist at the back of the lorry.
Yes. No, not ordinary siltstone. Siltstone blocks, please. They're lighter. I mean, other blocks would be fine, but we've got plenty of siltstone blocks. Okay, that layer also won't leak because we've neatly managed to dodge actually mining into the mining orthogonally adjacent to the to the sandstone. Oh dear, the dog's been run down by a minecart because dogs are starting to get into the minecart runs while the minecarts are still there. Right, someone has named their battle axe. No very interesting messages there. We seem to be into dry rock again now, which is nice. Let's see how the keeping the water out is going up here. Pretty well, actually. Oh, we've hit the caverns, right. Probably the right thing to do there then is to quickly... I mean, we could just cap this shaft now. We don't care about this shaft, really. But I think we could do better and, like, if we can see... Can we just place a floor across it down here or something? Don't quite know how this works. Let's ask to do a little... a little bit of staircase adjacent to it, and then we can floor off the bottom of that quite safely, I think. No, stop. Don't dig further down. I'm sure there's lots of fun stuff down there, but there are also forgotten beasts. Though it now occurs to me what I should have done is put a hatch cover over the very top of this shaft so I could just seal up the hatch cover. But I didn't, so there. So I will watch down here and see if a forgotten beast turns up. While we wait for the miners to do a little bit of extra mining to make this practical. Come along. Keeping an eye out for things that say interrupted by forgotten beast.
An agitated giant bee. I didn't know. I assume the giant bees are nothing like.
I thought it was a giant Kia. That's what we usually get. Don't think you get giant bees. Could be wrong. Right. So now I think we can go build floor. Oops. There. And that really should seal off the bottom of that staircase safely, albeit a bit messily. It would be nice if people would stop being run down by minecarts. Most of the minecarts seem to have been collected now. Most of them have crashed into something and thus stopped. Right, I think we can safely close the drain. And allow people to clear out the minecarts and all the other cruft. Maybe clean up some of the blood. Right, so there's now some blood there. Some floor there, which I think should firmly separate that from the that square from the cavern below, but we do thus have a danger of some water leaking in here, so let's clean that out and properly seal it, as all the higher levels are properly sealed. Ooh! Oh, our tantruming bone doctor has knocked over one of our stills. We should fix that.
Yes, they do seem to be Kias and not bees. I'm clearly my brain is glazing over and I should go to sleep.
Right, so let's check the state of that mine. Has it all got properly sealed? Almost all. There is also some more lignite over there that we might want to mine at some point, but let's not worry about that now. You've got some lignite supply, some coal supplies at least. Don't suppose we turned up any coal in this shaft, did we? No. Except right down there, where it's also damp. That might only be damp because we've got water in this staircase. Yes, I think so. So what do we? Oh yes, what do we know about the cavern layout now that we've that exploratory shaft has been dug? Oh right, here's some cavern a long way south. Still not enough south. So if we were then to dig a shaft up from there, or rather down to there, that would then show us another bit of cavern. And we can do it all again. Bone Doctor's getting into a fight with a turkey. That's very silly.
It's not even nearly Christmas.
No, midsummer. Right, so...
This fortress might be in the southern hemisphere.
Don't think it is, but I'm not sure. The Dwarf Fortress doesn't really have hemispheres. I mean, for one thing, the world is flat.
Well, I assume it also doesn't have Christmas, so the entire question is silly in the first place, but that didn't stop me.
Right. It's a stray gander. It's several stray ganders.
It was a lovely day in the underground swimming facility, and you were a horrible goose.
Yes. We do have one horrible goose, who's actually I've officially labelled as a horrible goose. Right. That's most of the minecarts now being cleared out. Let's do our usual thing of making sure that all of the escape staircases are forbidden, because that helps to avoid people pathing through there. And in particular, pets pathing through the swimming pool. This minecart, the platinum minecart, will take a little while to get out. Oh yes, we should rebuild the toppled still, shouldn't we?
Toppled still doesn't just mean you put it back upright, it means it's shattered.
Yes.
Anyway, good night.
I think our brewing jobs are not assigned to particular stills, and yes, it is strictly wrong to be brewing with a still. So we will doubtless find yet more sog down here. But like, we're getting quite good at walling off soggy things. Right, merchants have gone, taking our bins with them. Oh, what's our mandate situation? The Duke wants us to make more bins and more picks. And like all these copper picks we make for him just end up in weapon traps. And didn't the king want us to make a bolt? one bolt. Don't know if we actually make them in ones. Don't really pay attention to bolts. Those weapon traps are still awaiting construction. Is anyone working on them? Since it didn't say construction started, I think they may not be. Possibly I don't have enough people who can do... Well, since we're no longer in a hurry, actually, I think I might have created like a group of mechanics. Yes, I think everyone can do mechanics for now. We're not in a hurry for those, but we would like them done. I suppose we're not actually in any danger of drowning anyone in the swimming pool, even if we flood it, are we? Because we don't plan to flood it deep enough to drown anyone. Oh, well, it floods a bit quite deep at the entrance, doesn't it? And I would not object to losing some of the blood from it. Anyway, here comes someone to dig our next staircase, and there's an agitated giant Kia who might be a problem. All right, let's install a hatch cover over that staircase the moment it's built. Right, and we've found dampness down there, as expected. That way, with the hatch cover there, if we do let a forgotten beast into the staircase, we can at least keep it in the staircase. Let's put in these walls that will keep the aquifer at bay. There's still some water down there, but that should evaporate in due course. Right, here comes someone with a hatch cover to seal off the top of that shaft. I think the ganders might now be leaving. I think that gander is confused by discovering that there isn't a way out there anymore. That elf has been filed properly and can now be disposed of. Ditto that. Right, so now we have a hatch cover on this staircase, which means that we can seal it again if we really need to. Have we now? Okay, that's nice. So that's damp peat. So we do want to dig out those 4 spaces and install walls in them. Extract more bauxite. Well, this is nice. We're going through decent layers of solid bauxite here that won't leak. Apart from this thin layer of peat, but may as well fill these with the stuff we find further down the shaft. More bauxite. Some jet. This is all going quite nicely. That's chert, which is nice and solid. Lignite, nice. Lignite embedded in gypsum, so that's not going to leak. And hematite. Mostly annoying thing is that we haven't found none of our stones digging down here has made another loose boulder. Oh, there's another boulder. Right, good. You can stick that in the 4th hole here, well, once it's been dug out. Kaolinite, and we've struck something damp again. Right. Working out what's going on down there in a moment. Right, so there's a bit of sandstone there that's probably an aquifer. So we'll dig that out. But we're still doing all right otherwise. This shaft is generally going very nicely, very dryly. All we need is to discover a forgotten beast at the bottom of it. Microcline isn't that exciting. Slightly surprised we haven't struck the caverns already, but right, so then we can dig through a wall. Let's make it that one there. I reckon that will, well, that we know that will expose the caverns at least a little bit. And then we should immediately brick it up again. Twang, right, so that's exposed a bunch more stuff. The question is, how much further south do the caverns go? They don't go up any from there. And it looks like that might be... Oh no, there's an even more southerly extent. That must be getting quite close to where we want to be. We've discovered the remains of things that have met forgotten beasts. Right, so anyway, let's seal off that shaft, if we can find it. Using the bit of quartzite that's in the gap. Maybe pay attention here and see if a forgotten beast comes in through that hole before the wall gets installed. Right, that's that staircase sealed off. Now we just need to make sure it doesn't fill with water. So that means we need to put in a wall here, because that's damp sandstone there, which probably is part of an aquifer. And up here, this peat is probably part of an aquifer, so we should stick some convenient rock in there as well. And I think that's about, those are the only two layers where we hit aquifers at all, so that's nice. Did we find some gems on the way down? It's generally worth mining out gems. Probably not worth mining bituminous coal this far away from the main fortress, though. It's cobaltite, isn't it, which is not actually any use. Tetrahedrite, bituminous coal, lignite, kaolinite, lignite, magnetite. So there's a bunch of stuff we might want down there, but it's quite a long trek to get it home. So right, so this around here is ideally where we want to make a hole through to the caverns. We don't really know of any caverns that extend this far eastwards, annoyingly. So, like, this is the nearest the caverns seem to get. Though they clearly extend a bit further, deeper. So, and that's like 60 Z levels below the surface. That's going to be a long shaft to get water down. And it's somewhere over here, which is rather a long way from the river as well. Right. I mean, that should be okay, because I think we should be able to send water horizontally into the, in a lot reasonably deep, and it will just go quite fast, as we've seen when we try to drain the sea. So I don't think we need to worry much about having adequate capacity down there. Right, I think we should put that slab somewhere down here. In order to get the dwarven baby to go away. Dwarven ghostly baby to go away. We don't seem to have any leather working tasks scheduled at the moment. Let's look and see what people have by way of worn clothes they'd like to replace. Leather cloaks. I think we have an adequacy. Well, we're making cloaks. We're making them out of yarn. Obviously, if everyone's clothes are good, and like to an extent, of course, as people go into the military, they need fewer clothes. We're already making hoods. Yeah, I think a lot of people's clothes situations are all right at the moment. Anyway, we've cleared out all of the creatures from there, so let's refill the swimming pool with water. What I was wondering if I could make have a reservoir to fill the swimming pool that was precisely the correct size, so that you could just pull a lever and it would just dump exactly the right amount of water into the swimming pool. So this staircase is dry. I think we should extend this staircase downwards far enough to reach it's almost dry. The nearest known point in the caverns. Which will be around there. What? Oh, I had it set to automated ore and gem mining rather than like dig me a staircase. That's no good. Try again. And then we can try to use that then to construct some suitable system for draining the river. There seems to be a dwarf in there getting chased out by the water because they've decided to do some cleaning. Now is not the best of times to be cleaning this area, you know. I did close the drain, didn't I? Yes. Well, you'll be able to get out eventually. And like, I don't mind that you're cleaning. Getting some of the blood out would be nice. But you are going to be running away from the water. Don't worry, I'll open the escape route once you finish cleaning. Curious, do you like have a personality that says that you want to clean everything? Doesn't seem like it. Right, dwarven baby has been put to rest. Do we know anything about this dwarven baby then? Drowned, well, yeah, that happens. In memory of Asmel Imstinthed, born 110, drowned in the year 111, lover of silver. Well, it is shiny. I think we may have got our bone supplies a bit confused somewhere. What are you doing now? Oh, you've run out of things to clean. Well, I'm going to see how you try to escape now. Are you going to be able to get yourself back through all that water? Can you swim? Oh, you're a proficient swimmer. You might have a go then. No, you found something else to clean. Good. I'm just interested by how keenly you're going to pass through this water. Not very, it looks like. We're just going to stand there looking concerned. Well, I'll let you out then. Want 3 more bolts, do you? Okay. Right, I'm confident you're not going to drown. All right, you've found the hole now. Good. Either that or you're going to do more cleaning. Right, no, that's fine. Lock that again. Make sure no one comes up through it. Goes down through it, rather. Leave the pumps running for a little bit longer. So how's this shaft doing? This one doesn't seem to have run into anything very wet. Oh dear, maybe it has. Yes. So there it is. Should probably stick a floor hatch over that as well while we remember. Oh, we can't hatch those because they're too close to the edge. That might be a problem. Oh well. Yeah, whatever that damp was, I don't think it's a serious problem. We found any useful gems on the way down here? Tiger iron, probably useful. Cobaltite isn't. Right, keep going down, 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 down. We've reached the bottom of the previous shaft, but we still need to go deeper. If we're going to find that's just someone getting involved with a giant Kia, I think. What's that? Oh, garnierite. That's nice. So once we've made it down here, what do? We probably want to build at least the ability to drain into the cavern, don't we? Probably not directly from this staircase, because we're probably going to want to have like a horizontal pipe that runs this across here from the river, which is somewhere over here, to then drain down. We have it drain through that square, yes. So that says to me that I want to dig a horizontal tunnel Oops, that's wrong setting. Horizontal tunnel from there to there to there. And then that's going to want to go eastwards. And I think even a 1x1 tunnel will be able to take quite a lot of water if it needs to. So I think that should be fine, but we may have to experiment with this a bit. Okay, I think I should mention that we apparently, our dwarves have named one of the giant Kias Shove the Bit It, or something like that. Oh, someone else is having a strange mood. Well, that's fine. Let's slightly weirdly make a tiddly little stockpile here, which is only allowed to contain floor grates, and only one of those. With the idea being that that should make it a bit quicker to install a floor grate when we break through into the caverns here. This is of course a question of where our... Do we actually have any... We probably have to work out where the floor grates currently are, don't we? How do we find uninstalled floor grates? Like, we've got lots of grates, but most of them are installed in microcline floor grates. That's not very helpful. Well, I reckon most of our floor grates are going to turn out to be in this stockpile. So let's mark that stockpile as giving to the temporary floor grate stockpile down here. That should, I hope, then cause a task to be scheduled to move one floor grate into that stockpile. Doesn't seem to have been. Well, we'll wait and see if anything interesting happens, and if we don't get a floor grate shifted down there, then so be it. But I don't think we have any other floor grate stockpiles. And I think we had a decent stock of spare floor grates. Meanwhile, we should set up more weapon traps around the delta, shouldn't we? What should we fill this one with? Inappropriate weapons made of silver. So we've probably found a few gems down here that we should dig out, simply so that they're conveniently available, because we're always short of gems. Maybe we should put more effort into making cabochons and things. That shawl. Some red spinel. That's all we've got down there, right? You've claimed a mechanics workshop, that's entertaining. Or at least not currently ranting about not having the right equipment or right materials. Good. That still appears to be functional. Good. We've overfilled the swimming pool because I wasn't paying attention. Right, shut off the pumps. And let's see what the minimum amount of water we can drain is. I mean, strictly I haven't overfilled it so far that people will be drowning if they were in it, mostly. Right, has that drained it enough? Probably not. I think we should do the same thing again. Dizzy, says, obviously what's needed is a 327 mechanism contraption for automatically filling the pool to the right depth. Well, the thing is, I don't think it would I think there is actually a fairly simple way to fill it to the right depth. Oh, peregrine. Which is that we make a reservoir above it that when filled to the brim has the right amount of water to fill the swimming pool to the correct depth. So I don't think it would actually be very hard. Just involves a small amount of counting and quite a lot of walls. Go on, let a little bit more water out, please. And remembering to operate the levers in the correct sequence. Does drain quite quickly. Please pull that lever now, or all the water will get out. Right. Is that enough water? We want it to be 4 to 5 deep. I think that's slightly too little. Let's pump a little bit more in. Now, of course, you can't build walls that are precisely 4 units high, precisely 4/7 of a unit high. They have to be multiples of 7 high. It's like Tomb Raider. Right, is that the right amount of water, do we think? I think that's still a bit too little. That's not going to level out at 4 to 5, is it? That's going to level out at 3 to 4. Let's just suspend that job for a little bit longer. Right, now turn the pumps off. I reckon that will be about right, if someone will actually come and do it. Come on! I've set this to be a stupidly high priority job because now is when I want this lever to be pulled. But I think this doesn't necessarily mean it gets scheduled for someone who's actually anywhere near the lever. Each of my previous lever pulling requests has been honoured rapidly. Well, that was a very quick artefact. Thank you, we have an artefact gypsum mechanisms. Well, someone will pull that lever eventually. And then we'll go, no, the swimming pool's too full again. It is called Mortal Moistens the Dots of Sinking. This is a gypsum mechanisms. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of oval gypsum cabochons, round limonite cabochons, dingo leather and willow. This object menaces with spikes of siltstone and cinnabar. On the item is an image of Thod Blaze basements, the dwarf in wolf leather. On the item is an image of a giant fly in gypsum, which is not quite the same as a giant bee. Someone is putting it in a stockpile for us. Have you pulled the lever yet? Yes, good. Infuriatingly, I think this is going to level out slightly too full. I think there are more 6s than there are 4s in there. We would prefer it to level out at more 4s than 6s. Well, I think if we get too much 6, then the minecarts can't actually make it all the way around the route without running out of speed. It's possible that like 1 or 2 6s would be fine. Meanwhile, has anyone brought that floor grate down to the bottom of this staircase yet? Or even decided that they might? Doesn't look good. No, oh well. I suppose we can just install it down here, can't we? And then we can remove it. That will work just as well. So we can totally go install a bauxite floor grate somewhere unhelpful, dig a hole in the floor, stick the bauxite floor grate over that hole in the floor. Well, maybe that's not too much water. Hooray, we are able to make more things out of giant gear bone. And look, we seem to have Shraveth Bithit has been butchered, it looks like. No, that feels like too much water. Sorry, we'll do a very slight draining if this works. Possibly this will let too much water out, I don't know. Oh, actually, maybe it is close enough. Maybe we should just try sending some minecarts through it and seeing if they go wrong. This might actually end up very close to 5 everywhere. And like the tiny number of 6s probably won't be harmful. That's our automated grate production facility getting underway. Right, so that grate has now been placed down there, so now we can ask to remove the grate again. And then it will conveniently be in the right place. Right, now we will temporarily forbid that grate to stop it being moved anywhere and dig a hole underneath there which will penetrate the cavern. Actually, can we now unforbid that and actually ask to install that grate right now? Right. Or has that now removed the mining? I think that's removed the mining. Yes, it has. Right, okay, we have to do this in 2 stages. No problem. This will, of course, drop this enormous lump of granite here through the floor into the caverns, but that's fine. Hang on, someone is smoothing a wall. I don't understand smoothing. Tough. We're going to avoid the exploit of draining things off the map because it's too complicated. I mean, it's not much of an exploit, to be fair. So this dwarf is going to make another hole into the caverns, which we will then, which will be the one that we plan. We've made a nut roast. Which we will then plan to drain the river into by a very deep pipe. I should just investigate that nut roast and, well, no, it's probably made from the right kind of nuts. The thing is that we don't want them to make nut roasts out of raw rock nuts. We want to press the oil out of the rock nut and then make the nut roast out of what's left. No, we're not draining the river into nut roast. That would be weird. Just for amusement value, let's watch the granite boulder that's currently here. Whee! Thud. Right. Okay, that actually might be quite interesting. Maybe we don't need... Oh no, we need to unforbid that bauxite grate first. You have no job. All being well, you will now go, oh, there's a job that needs doing right next to me. Or maybe you won't. Someone completely other has taken on the job of installing that bauxite floor grate. Which means there is a decided danger that if there is still a living forgotten beast down there, it will emerge up this shaft. So there's one way to check on that is, can we see anyone in this list? The answer is no. That's a good start, because that means the forgotten beast is nowhere visible in the caverns. Or no forgotten beast is visible anywhere in the caverns. So that suggests we can probably go vertically downwards to about here, straight from the river. Which is probably a good plan. So let's see, where do we actually want to go down? Ideally, we would go vertically downwards from there, where we're planning to cut into the bed of the river. And that does overlap the caverns. 77 Z levels down, but it overlaps the caverns. There's quite a lot of miasma down here, which suggests there's probably a forgotten beast around somewhere, because it's probably killing things. Well, there's a dead forgotten beast, or at least, yes. There's a dead troglodyte. Wonder what killed that forgotten beast. I mean, it was made of salt. It might not have taken much. Of course, if we do pour the water down here, it will end up draining off the edge of the map, just down here. Right, that's the caverns blocked off again. Right, so that's all nice. So our next task, I fear, is to dig another vertical shaft. Quite a big one. That will connect this area where we're planning to get the river in down to the caverns. But that's obviously going to be a big job, and we're certainly not doing it now. Similarly, I want to set the minecarts going again around the dwarf washer, and while that isn't a big job, it will still take a bit of organising. So I think we will leave it there for tonight and come back on Friday. So I need to press some buttons, don't I? One of the buttons goes like this, and the other one of the buttons is over here and has the word good night on it, so I shall say good night. Good night.